Good evening, everyone. Continuing from our last uh, call on the Space UI, where we have discussed how the new engagement and publishing modules work, and we did look at a couple of concepts of the tabular views, search bars, and how the publishing icon opens the quick publish, right? So we did go through what are the priority ones and what are the minor enhancements that we have tried to put in. So in today's call, we will have an overview on the insights, the listening insights, and the reporting insights. So basically, the insights cloud, major predominantly focusing on how the visuals work in our insights clouds going forward in the space UI. So, just to draw upon the similar structure that we discussed in our previous call, here also you could see that, the tabular views are very predominant, and you can see both the listening and reporting insights are being opened into different tabs here upfront, right? And same way, how are you going to access the the listening insights is, by simply just going to the launch pad and then searching it, right? Yeah, just like we used to do it for engagement. So the launchpad icon will actually give you access to all the functional clouds that are accessible for the user, and then the user can deep dive into any one of the modules from here. And moving on, so what are we actually looking at here? Uh, uh, you would we have set up a sample dashboard which goes with the name all charts variations. So in the new space UI, basically, you would see all the bar charts, how the bar charts. So this is how the bar charts are going to look like. This is how the donut graphs are going to look like, right? All the tabular views, all the funnel views, right? All the trend graphs, so all the table digits. So the nomenclature is exactly the same. I'll explain what are the enhancements or how we have made improvements as per the user experience is concerned. So you would see, upfront, you would see details like, adding a section, right? So what you are seeing is basically a dashboard wherein, you are seeing one section in a dashboard. So basically it's a tab within a dashboard. Say if you want to add another section here, you simply go ahead and add a section, and you can go ahead and add your separate widgets over here. So it's basically, you are creating two different tabs within a single dashboard tab, right? So switching on to the earlier ones, and you can edit it, and you can delete it, you know these tabs, right? So yeah. Also, you would be able to see all the dashboard level operations which are similar, both the filters, refresh, and all the dashboard level creation, cloning, locking, delete. So these are all exactly the parity features which we had in the older V3 version of the Insights Cloud, right? And apart from that, even at the widget level, now coming to the widget level, right? So you would see upfront the description of the widget, what this widget is all about. It's like a snapshot to show you that this mentions versus read. So it's a title. We have made it a lot more bolder. The colors are also, these are all the new space colors that we call them. For instance, what is the difference among these colors and the previous colors are, some when it comes to the source and the channel content, right? The users will be able to easily identify what the content is about. For instance, the blue is generally ascribed to the Facebook color. So let me just go ahead and refresh it. So whenever a dashboard gets uh, refreshed, right? So you would see all this. There's a state of showing whether the dashboards are loading or not, right? Yeah. So just to know, we have a question. Where are the numbers representing volume? So yeah. So as I understand, oh yeah, yeah. So we have just not put over here detail. These are just summary or overlay widgets. And if we want, we can add those X and Y axis details as well. So for instance, you would see, what in the Y axis you would see what is the domain details, and then you would see the legends saying what is the mentioned, unmentioned, and the earned reach, right? Something like this. So you would also see the access labels, whether it is created time, and then you would see the relevant filters. Okay. Uh, yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, Jack. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So coming to the colors itself. So generally users ascribe blue to Facebook, right? So for instance, you would see that as soon as you hover on a donut chart, right? So you would see the boundary getting highlighted. So this is a kind of a visual effect that has been added, and the user knows that this is actually Facebook, and you can see that the mentions in the Facebook. Then moving on to the other color, right? So this is Instagram. So typically users will be able to ascribe a particular color to a channel. So that is something that we have tried to bring in. So light blue for Twitter. So this will make things easier to visualize, and much more cleaner, right? And also, we have brought those visualization because we have seen that a lot of users, they tend to change the visualizations a lot, and the visualization options have also been given upfront, whether you want to change this to word cloud or an area chart or a spline chart, right? So exactly the same parity has been maintained here as well, so that the users expect to change certain visualizations upfront. And I'll come to this setting icons. This is where the magic happens in the new widgets. So this is a funnel chart. So it's a new appearance that we try to give for a funnel chart for users to understand how the stepwise the posts have been filtered, and what's the compartmentalization of all the mentions. And so one of the pain points that we try to address in this uh, in this dashboard is how to fit the widgets properly. So for instance, if you could recollect, in our previous UI, we had this extension option where users can actually drag and drop. They can actually drag a particular widget. They can resize it according to their wish. So what this has actually resulted in some issues, because if say users want to align two widgets side by side, right? So then it created a lot of havoc, in the sense that they need to precisely put they need to precisely adjust both the length and the width of the particular dashboard to arrive at a proper layout. So what we have done in this new UI is, we gave the option in the form of aspect ratios, where users can resize their widgets, and we have actually fixed the proportions to which they can resize. For instance, I can resize this widget to 75%, right? So this will actually occupy this much of space, right? And I can actually make this full 100% as well, right? So this is going to occupy the entire width of the dashboard. I can actually resize it to 25. That will bring my previous dashboards also up front. So this resizing options, basically, this maintains a crystal clear view of the dashboard, where users can actually they need not even take the pains of fitting the widgets in a proper layout, right? And also coming to that was actually the width aspect ratio. Coming to the length also, coming to the width also, right? So what we try to do is, we try to pixelate what can be the width of a particular widget. So for instance, I am actually dragging this, say I'm dragging this particular widget, right? Let me just go. Okay, these are all, I think, the standard dashboard. So I think I may not be able to. Let's just check. Yeah. So the moment I shorten the width of a particular dashboard, the pixels get fit into a predefined a template that dimensions that we have ascribed to it, right? To just show you, say, even if I drag it to some extent, right? the dashboard is gonna fit the entire predefined dimensions that we try to give it. I hope I'm able to explain you guys in better manner. So if you could just see, I just try to resize the width, and the dashboard itself adjusts to a predefined dimension that we try to give. So basically all the extensions, both in terms of width and length, are compartmentalized, and specific pixels have been associated to it, so that the visuals don't go wayward, and the users are able to actually kind of a predictability is brought into the behavior of a widget, where users can see, okay, if I drag this particular widget lengthwise and breadth and widthwise, so this is how I can expect the widget to behave. uh, Apart from that, all the widget level actions in the form of editing, locking, exporting, right, all these remain exactly the same widget level operations that we used to see in the previous UI as well. And you can also have this a dashboard level descriptions exactly the same way that we used to do for some of our partners, to just explain what the dashboard is all about, right? and uh, and one of the issue that we try to fix here is a scrolling issue. For instance, if you could just collect in our table widgets, or specifically, where the users, whenever they used to scroll, right, so the widget scroll also used to come into play, and it used to give a nagging issue for users, where they couldn't clearly identify, when to stop scrolling at what positions, right? So here what we have tried to do is, we try to fix that behavior by fixing how many rows are we going to show. Like, what you can see is 20 rows, and whenever the users want to see extra data, then they have to go ahead and click next, right? So that, this coding behavior, is not creating an issue for user whenever he's trying to work on a particular widget. And also all those traditional charts, word clouds and bubble charts are also, just exactly the way that we try to put in place. And the colors are much more sharper, much more beautiful now, to for user to clearly spot what are the variations. And all the highlighting now works pretty well, wherein you can highlight a portion of a widget, right? The drill downs are exactly the same. You can go ahead and you can see. So coming back to the drill down, so right, so whenever you drill down any particular widget, you would actually see the same widget, applying over here as an overlay, wherein for you to give a context, and the drill down version will actually appear in the bottom, right? Let me just see. I think it's taking a bit time to load. It's on plot 0. Yeah. Okay. So the drill down version, the drill down content will appear here, while you would actually retain the original widget content at the top, right? So just for the user to know, what are they. So whatever drill downs you apply here, all this will be all you can see in a single pane. So basically, the user will have context to all this data, and he will always have the parent widget at the top. So you could see that one more thing that we try to add is the toggle bars. For instance, the moment I try to minimize this particular widget, it occupies a space at the bottom. So whenever that will retain me the view of the original dashboard without losing the context. And if and when I want to open it again, I'll actually come back here. So that is something that as a new concept we added, and that will actually apply to across all the widgets. For instance, if I actually uh, say open a particular stream, right? So, and if I say minimize this particular widget, so all these particular drill down versions of those dashboards, get accumulated at the bottom, and whenever user wants to bring them up front, he can go. Okay. Just sorry for the drill down actually not working. Let me get this checked right after this call. So Any questions, guys? Okay. So let me also cover how the admin portions also work. Right. So it's the same hamburger icon that we used to have in the engagement dashboard itself, where it will open different dashboards and different tabs. So we did not try to meddle much with this because the users are tuned to accessing the dashboards here. And going back to the settings screen, right? So this is how the topic screen typically looks like. It's like a simple list view, where you have this toggle options, to switch on the fetching or stop the fetching. You have the topic name, the query that goes along with this, both the modified time and the creation time, and who is the owner of that particular topic, right? And one of the concept is in the form of quick filters that we try to add over here. So quick filters are basically, if your user wants to often apply some, these are the most frequently used filters for the user who want to, basically filter all the topics as per what are fetching, what are not fetching, and these are all configurable. User can add as many filters as he wants to, different kinds of filters. That is something that, okay, that we try to bring over here. And both the topic level actions, they remain the same: edit, clone, the backfill options from what sources you want to pull in: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the channel sources, and the date range, right? So the same backfill action that was present in the older version, we are actually giving it in the form of a card view with the overlay that comes in front. Okay. So, and apart from that, let me also show you how the view mode will look like. So for instance, for this particular topic, the moment I double click here, you will actually see this entire topic in the view mode. So this is how we try to give the view mode for all the topics, right? So have the topic header, what is the topic group that it belongs to, the basic information about that, what is the start date and end date, what is the query, and what are the accounts, right? So all these details are captured here in this particular template. Okay. And so just like, just also cover this, the moment, what we try to do this is to bring the more predominant details upfront, and then, take the lesser details, or the less frequently used ones, they take a back seat in the form of the other tabs, where the user can switch to additional filters, and can add, their own set of customized filters in the form of profiles to include or exclude any particular profile, right? So this is how, the users can manage a particular topic. There will be an overview screen, there will be a tab for managing the sources, and then there will be a tab for adding additional filters. Okay. So moving back to the list view. So let me also show you guys how, it's the same way that we create the topics. So it's exactly the same experience, not change. There's no change in that. All the patterns, the way you build a query, right? How you refine the search items, right? And how the final the query for the topic will look like. Both the save and cancel buttons appearing a lot more bolder here. So all this flow remains exactly the same. There isn't much, just that, we try to highlight certain. Okay, preview, right? Preview for, yeah. So preview will be something like, whenever you deep dive into this, so a preview icon will be there. So let me get this checked. I think, yeah, there must be some issue here. I also noticed this right before the demo. Yeah, so preview will appear for you for every topic. You can see how the conversations are being pulled in. Does that answer the question? So, okay, yeah, my bad, Jared. I should have focused on that. Yeah. Uh, moving on, I think that is the predominant piece. I think less rest of all are the same way. It's all the structure is exactly the same. You have shared dashboards. You have the dashboards which you have created, right? It's exactly the same nomenclature, and the similar structure even appears for reporting as well. Just check. So let me open a dashboard, right? So I've just opened a standard dashboard for you guys to have a look at. Okay. Let's check. So this is how you will see now whenever a dashboard is actually loading. So this is, yeah. So this is a visualization. All whenever the trend is moving up. So this is how it will be highlighted or made a bit more green. And whenever there is something bad going on, right? So the users will be clearly able to differentiate it. Then you have all the stream view, how the stream is going to appear right besides the engagement dashboard, the breakdowns, right, reached by media types. So table views, right? So this is something that we try to fix a lot because a lot of users complained us on how the tables are going to look like. So we try to squeeze the data and make it look a lot more cleaner. You would see that the images are also appearing side by side, and there's not much clutter, and we try to bring in explicit boxes have been now put in place for the column headers, right? And users are now given navigation. The pagination has been given as in the form of pages and next. Okay. And again, you see that same consistency. Whenever a channel, a concept gets introduced, you would see the colors taking, the form of, what we typically associate it with that particular channel. Deep blue for Facebook and light blue for Twitter, right? So you would also notice that the headline is something that gets now highlighted where the user will clearly know what is the widget that he's trying to look at whenever he spots a particular widget. And the similar concept of uh, the visualizations appearing upfront, and since it's a standard dashboard, there isn't much that you can play around. The aspect ratios won't appear here, right? It's only for the custom dashboards that you will be able to see the aspect ratios. Then you would also I think you guys have already spotted this. I think we covered this in the last demo as well. You will see the duration of a particular data that is being pulled over here, and also for what period. Right? So this is something that user can change based on the data. Right? So that's it, guys. That is pretty much that I wanted to cover on the insights portion. Uh, I'll be happy to take any quick questions from you guys, or you can post anything on the Slack channels that I can get back to you guys with replies. Oh yeah. Uh, Let me just go back to so essential creation, please. Yeah. So custom widget creation is something it works like this. So let me just right, and you can use any any kind of visualization that you would want, right? So the moment you say account versus a very simple basic chart that I can pull it some. average. So, so this is how the custom widget creation happens, and then basically just change the visualizations as you would want. Yeah. So the bubble charts. Let's check. Count. Sign up. Yeah, so you can just plot it. So this is how you can go ahead and plot any kind of visualizations. No, no, no. Exactly the same metrics will be available. There has been literally no change. So all those matrices that you guys are able to access in the previous one, it's just a UI that is the visualization that is being, uh, yeah, exactly, purely cosmetic, as Jared puts it. Okay. Thanks, guys. I think please put in any questions or any kind of issues that you might have while accessing these dashboards. Please do let me know your feedback. I'll be happy to help you guys in any way.